When was the last time you put pen to paper and wrote someone a letter? I bet, like most people these days, it's been a very long time. In fact, I can't actually remember the last time I wrote someone a letter. But what if you did just that and the recipient was yourself? Write a letter to yourself. Sounds a bit weird, but I want you to write a letter to your future self. I'm going to touch on the difference between writing a letter to your past self compared to writing a letter to your future self is, as well as the benefits. So first off, why would you write a letter to either your past self or your future self? So your past self, if you're writing a letter there, it's to help you gain insight into yourself. Foster self-compassion. As a general rule, we're all very good at being very compassionate to others. If a friend or a family member, a loved one makes a mistake, we can show them compassion. We can say, it's okay, you made a mistake, you've learnt. That's the main thing. But when it comes to ourselves, we tend to hold ourselves a higher standard, like we're not allowed that compassion. I am actually thinking from personal experience there, but there's so many people in my own life that they'll turn around and go, "Oh, Kirsty, it's okay. You made a mistake." But I'm like, right, well, but you made a mistake, and it's like, oh, but for some reason when it's ourselves, it's different. We should know better. And a letter to our past selves helps us reflect, gain insight, and hopefully be a bit more compassionate towards ourselves, compassionate towards the person who we were. Whereas a letter written to our future selves is a powerful tool to help us. Again, it's reflective, but it's more, where do we want to go? Where do we want to take our life? Whether it's professionally or personally. So that's the main difference. In a nutshell, writing to your past is about compassion and insight, and writing to your future self is insight with goals. As with all my ritual videos, I like going into the benefits of what I'm suggesting, so that it's not just some random piece of advice with no real reason behind it and a video you should scroll past. Well, hopefully you're still watching at this stage. You are at least intrigued to the benefits. So one of the benefits is that it helps you capture your current feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, your experiences. It helps you can write down it as a snapshot. It's a snapshot of what you are currently going through. And then when you go back in the future to read this letter, it lets you go, either you go, oh yes, I remember going through that. I remember how I felt back then. But gosh, how far have I come? If I was to write a letter to myself 7 years ago and read it today, I would probably be quite amazed at how far I've come. Because although we are aware, oh, well, I'm not in that job anymore, I'm not living in that place anymore, I'm not in that relationship, I have moved on. Sometimes actually reading our own words and how we feel. That can be more powerful and can trigger memories, can trigger us going, oh, I forgot X, I forgot Y. And those letters, when we reread them, can help us realise how far we've come, how much we've grown as an individual. These letters can also act as a commitment to our personal goals. So maybe your personal goal is in the next 5 years to have travelled through Europe on your own, or bought a house, emigrated abroad, started a business, whatever it is for you. This letter can be a way to commit to it, to yourself, because the letter lets you help articulate the goal in a way that is true to yourself, is authentic to yourself. You can even plan it, and maybe you're writing to future you in 6 months' time. It's maybe not 10 years off in the future, it's in 6 months. And you can go back in 6 months and go, oh right, I said I was going to do X and I did it. Or I said I'll do X and I've missed it, but I've done this. And it helps keep you on track. And revisiting the letter, it helps motivate us. It's that old motivation. It's not always there. But by having this letter, you can read it and go, I remember, yeah, that's what I said I was going to do. I better go and do it. I better go and take the action steps so I can be that person. An unsurprising benefit is that the act of writing is therapeutic. It's why we're advised to journal. It's why we're told do a brain dump. All these terms you will have heard at some point. It's therapeutic. It gets things out your mind, and by just doing that can help you feel better. And writing this future letter, or letter to your future self more accurately, it helps not just reduce stress, but offer clarity. Again, it's going back to the goal. If you know where you're heading, you have clarity. It helps you express a moment of hope, optimism, resilience, but you can also write your fears down, and you can write your aspirations, and it's just for you. So it doesn't matter if you think it sounds wild or crazy, or actually more, it doesn't matter if you think, oh, if I said this to my mum, or I said this to my partner, my best friend, they're going to think I'm crazy. That goes out the window. This is private. This is between you and you. It doesn't matter if it sounds crazy to the rest of the world. The rest of the world doesn't matter in this. This is your place to write your wildest dreams, your wildest aspirations. And have somewhere that you can then say, well, I want to... There's going to be someone, I hope, watching this going, I really want to open up a wildlife sanctuary. But they might be in a job that is nothing even to do with animals. That doesn't mean they can't aspire to it. That's a possibly a bit of a random example for me to give. But my hope is that you'll be going, it doesn't matter where I am. This letter to my future self is that it is to myself. So I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to write down my honest aspirations, my honest dreams. And in doing that, it gives you clarity, lets you see, right, I'm here, I want to be there. How do I get there? And maybe your aspiration is to just have a peaceful life, have a calm life. I mean, that is everything around this business that I'm doing, is to help people create their peaceful and calm homes and lives. But that's not to say we can't be aspirational at the same time. That can't be to say we should just settle. It's saying live a life that is true to you. So there you go. Writing a letter to your future self. Give it a try. You never know what you might discover about yourself.